Hey people, Indrid here. 3v3 faction war this is. Greysuck, Undercity and Space Marines versus the Tyranids. For the blue Space Marine team, Hogest is a force commander, a versatile frontline hero, can bring offense, disruption and support for the Emperor, and this is the Dark Angels DLC alongside aZmodai, with an Apothecary support hero fighting in melee combat by default, begins with a heal and a passive health regeneration aura, also rocking the Dark Angels DLC. Where's those robed tactical marines? There they are. And rounding off the team is Saint Galahad and a Techmarine. Starts off in ranged combat, can get a melee weapon, supports with structures and repairs. Got some Black Templars here. For the red Tyranids, HappyDogo and the Hive Tyrant, a durable hero walking through objects, cannot be suppressed with powerful offense, disruption and support. Begins in melee with a basic synapse. I shall call you Diego. Alongside is Choki and a Lictor Alpha, a melee specialist, can infiltrate and disrupt, some powerful offense and a bit of support too, already sneaking around. Rounding off the teams is Malos, Vrykan and a Ravener Alpha, a tunneling hero with great mobility, powerful offense and a bit of support. Begins with a ranged weapon and he's skirting around the edge of the map right now. Probably wants to put a tunnel down here in the southwest corner. There it goes. Already has one back at base, so can very quickly get to the front line now. Meanwhile, in this southwest location, tactical marines in melee combat with some Hormagaunts. Techmarine backing off. We've got more Hormagaunts chasing. Oh no! I think he retreated the wrong brood there. Yep, oops. I think he only meant to retreat that low health squad. So I guess the tunnel's going to be used pretty soon to get those guys back on the front line, eh? Lictor Alpha skulking around in the mid. In fact, he's run out of energy to infiltrate at the moment. Shotgun scouts already up for aZmodai. No sign of power spent by the force commander yet. Went straight into double tactical marines actually. Double tax also for aZmodai. Any shotguns around here? Yep. Shotguns in for Galahad onto the natural VP of the Tyranids here because of that unfortunate retreat mistake from Malos. Warrior Brood on the way. The Hormagaunts are now reinforced. Looks like he doesn't want to give away the fact that he's got a tunnel down there, so he's just running these guys in. Tactical Marines with their fast capping, grabbing the VP, and here's the shotguns. Only one of the Hormagaunts are in here, but shotguns are absolutely devastating to early melee squads. Those guys wipe. That knockdown really messes them up. It basically forces you to retreat a lot of the time. And Malos should have retreated those guys. Does have the toxin sacks in for these termagants. And here's the Warrior Brood, starting off as a melee squad with power melee and a little leap into combat. Going for the shotgun scouts, are they? Nope, they're in on the tactical marines. There's a grenade. Maybe hit one of these guys, but was otherwise dodged and gets the Space Marines out of there. Ravener Brood on the way for Choki. Already has Warrior Brood up as well. Did he not get double termagants or double Hormagaunts then? Maybe they've died already. And we see a bunch of Tyranid bodies around the mid. Not really. Up in the northeast, tactical marines grabbing the contested victory point here, and these fellas have their sergeant. See that health regen aura around the Apothecary. He's going to need to heal himself, I think, soon when he gets the energy back. No push on the power by the Space Marines. They're kind of digging in early. Maybe they're looking to repel this attack and then perhaps they'll push on with flamers or something to get the gens down. Yeah, 4 tactical marines up here. That's a lot of firepower. With Apothecary support and the Force Commander battle crying, buffing all those guys up. Here it is though. Lictor Alpha kicks it off with a flesh hook on the Sergeant of those scouts, and they wipe. Nicely done. Burrow strike from the Ravener Brood. Warrior Brood following them in. Really good approach here by the Tyranids. The flesh hook really kicked it off. Seemed to kind of frazzle the Space Marines a bit. Shotgun blast is good. Hormagaunts on those tactical marines, so they can't bring their Kraken bolts to bear on the Warrior Brood. Because if you had all 4 of those tacks Kraken bolting on the Warrior Brood, which gives them 20% more damage versus heavy infantry, with battlecry buffs, you'd think they'd go down quite quickly, but they were able to tie them up and mess them up and disrupt. Are those scouts being replaced by Hogest? Don't see them. aZmodai goes for an assault squad, and it's the Tyranids on the power. Middle of the map, Ravener Alpha trying to grab this contested wreck point. All the gens are for the Space Marines down in the southwest, which is handy because this one's getting bashed right now. Assault squad also for Hogest. I think it's worth replacing the scouts, right? I mean, the flesh hook is nasty. And that happened, by the way, because the scout sergeant is a die last squad leader, which is typically a good thing, because it means you don't have to repurchase him because he dies last. But if he gets flesh hooked and focused down, it means all the other models die. And even if they try to escape, because you're damaging the trapped sergeant, so they all die, and then you just finish off the sergeant at the end. Hive Tyrant went down. Diego has fallen. I don't think the Lictor Alpha can get him there. It's a little bit sloppy from HappyDogo. 2-to-1 cap by the Tyranids, but they are being pushed off quite quickly on this counter-attack from the VP. Assault Squad make a big difference to your approach. You can jump in and disrupt, and the attacks follow up with a bolter fire, and there's 2 of them now. And they have Apothecary support. St. Galahad straight into tier 2 with only the tax. Did get a master-crafted bolter. All players going tier 2 now. It looks like Malos was the first to go. Did replace those Hormagaunts, by the way. And the tunnel is still up in the southwest, unless it's a new one. Looks like it was just used, actually. Look at this. Hormagaunts with adrenal glands, Hormagaunts without adrenal glands. These guys have their toxin sacs, and they are going to push onto the power. I purposely put these paths here at the bottom so that players could use them to get around, maybe with a transport or something, to hit the power, or webways or tunnels. Grenade was attempted. Scouts now in a bit of trouble. Slow to retreat there from Galahad. Sometimes retreats can be a bit finicky in this game, and they don't obey your commands. This wreck point's been decapped. Bunch of dead termagants around. No push on the power again, though, by the Space Marine team at the top. No flamers that I can see either. These guys getting caught. Adrenal Gland Warriors. Sorry, Adrenal Gland Hormagaunts on them there. There's the jump. Hive Tyrant has been repurchased. Do we have any levels on these guys? No levels yet. Crippling Poison messing up the Assault Squad. And it's the Hormagaunts nipping at their ankles. Force Commander. Got to get in there, bud. Got to disrupt some stuff. That was a Psychic Scream with a big debuff there. Hit a lot of stuff with it. Also has improved Synapse, which is very handy, and Choki's units will also benefit from that. You do benefit from your allies' synapses, which is handy. Apothecary is getting stuck in. There's full health. Assault Squad run into disruption. Allows the Apothecary to approach with impunity, basically. But now the Assault Squad are off the field. Is the other one around? No, I think they're both off the field. And here's a Genes to the Brew. Incredibly powerful melee squad with power melee damage. Got a shotgun to the face, so they got suppressed, but are still able to get in there. Healing on hits, but they can't stay in there long. Did they drop a model? They did drop a couple of models too. If they had a bit more backup there, they could have got into the tack pile and did a whole bunch of damage. Surely some Zone Thropes here. 4 tacks all bunched up, look. Zone Thrope here would do some good work. A Genes to the Brood on the way for Malos. Here's the Ravener Brood. Oh, they're going melee mode with enhanced muscle coil. There's a Burrow Strike. I think it's a decent shout here, especially if you get some melee synapse going, which maybe Choki, yeah, Choki already has. And those Raveners of HappyDogo will benefit from the melee synapse of these fellas. That gives big buffs to melee units, which includes the Raveners when you give them the muscle coil. These guys don't have it from Choki. Got 1 gen down. Almost a 2nd gen. Yep, 2nd gen down. And they got the Force Commander. Plasma guns for these guys. Very effective against heavy infantry. They can try and target the Warrior Broods. They do get a big health boost from this, though. 65% more health. That was a pretty good merciless strike from the Assault Marines there. Yeah, but after that, they need to get the hell away. Are we going to see Purification Rites from the Apothecary? Seems like a good shout. So much melee going on here. Some Devastators as well. Maybe a Whirlwind. Attacks having to back off. Termagants, meanwhile, are capping. What's going on in the southwest? Attacks getting caught by Warrior Brood. They have their Sergeant, who's a good melee combatant. Shotguns coming in to help him out. Techmarine being tied up by Rippers. Spawned from this capillary tower here. They see them off though. Defend their power. Can take this down for some red and some XP. And then maybe get a decap. But there's a whole pile of Tyranids down here. Are they stuck? No, they're just waiting for stuff to move, I think. Meanwhile, on this power point, Tyranids bashing it fully. Maybe? I think. There we go. Haven't decapped it yet. Diego, the Hive Tyrant, is running away. So he will survive. Ravener Brood with the enhanced muscle coil also running. Gives them more speed, more health. And power melee, which is quite nice, isn't it? Did the Lictor Alpha get out? Yeah, he's alright. Ravener Alpha with the Synapse Aura for damage. It's that purple aura you see there. Awesome effect we got. I think Wise Windu put that in, an old modder. Oh hey, Terminators though. From St. Galahad went straight into Terminators after the attacks. These fellas with Storm Bolters and Power Fists. Inspiration on kill, so often you want to target something that's weak and will die quickly. Gene Stealers though are a big problem for Terminators. They will do lots of damage. I mean, even Hormagaunts will. They're missing them a bit here though. And the Terminator is able to teleport out. Tier 3 now for aZmodai. Looks like Choki and Malos, the last players in Tier 2. No Tier 2 units for the Space Marine players at all. They're back on the VP though. And there's 3 Tactical Marine squads here that can all cap quickly. These guys are grabbing the contested power. No Zone Thropes, eh? HappyDogo going straight into Tier 3 after the Ravener Brood got their fancy muscle coils. Without you, still the improved Synapse on the Psychic Scream. There's that Burrow Strike. And these fellas with the enhanced muscle coil can just like burrow and remain underground as well. Oh, we have got some Vanguard veterans. First company assault squad that can outfit themselves with a bunch of power weapons, as you see. They can also replace that Thunderhammer with a Power Fist for some anti-vehicle. Might be worth... Is it worth getting Rending Talons to counter-initiate those guys? That Merciless Strike can be quite nasty, but you can punish them for it. Assault Cannon is in for the Terminators. They'll kill things even faster to rack up those inspirations on kill. And they suppress as well, look at that. Killed a Warrior Brood model and then suppress the others. An awesome weapon, this thing. And they're a little bit cheaper these days now that Terminators are limited to 1. Warrior Brood flees. Ravener Brood called in by Malos, something the Ravener Alpha can do, but they instantly die. That didn't turn out great, and he's still in Tier 2 now. Oops, indeed. Techmarines level 5 doing some good work with the Mastercrafted Bolter. Was it 2? Oh, I guess these guys did come in. 2v1 against Malos for a second there. Should have been more careful with those Raveners though. Can the Tyranids outnumber them in the northeast now and push through? They're up against, oh, a Terminator Force Commander. With a big old heavy flamer. Not something you see very often. We'll see how it can roast some Tyranids. Also gives you the Cleansing Flame. Goes for the Raveners, eh? Oh, then he runs away. He can teleport, that guy. And he can retreat. All the other Terminators make fun of him that he retreats, I think. Vanguard Veterans barely making it out. Is that 2 Gene Stealer Broods? No, it's 1. They're just split up, strangely. Big melee blob of stuff. Might see some Assault Terminators for Hogest. Oh, Neurothrope is up for HappyDogo. That's a good shout. Very good against groups of the heavy and super heavy infantry, which is basically the entire Space Marine roster. Infantry roster anyway, 270 to 332. Another good Merciless Strike. But then they get up and have to deal with stuff. Do you have pheromones? No war gear whatsoever for the Lictor Alpha. Guess it's allowed him to get things on the field quicker, but is he doing a huge amount in combat? I guess he's tying up some tax, eh? Gets a good special. Scythe might be good, because it's a power weapon, and it gives you on-demand disruption and suppression if you get close enough, that is. Here's the Neurothrope. Got some nasty abilities. Doesn't naturally regenerate energy, though. You need to use his abilities to do it, like Absorb Life and Spirit Leech. Which I'm sure we'll see at some point. The tax run, but they got the VP, it looks like. Now, Terminators most likely have their teleport, but there's no Librarians on the field to save them. Past that. Able to just tank the Gene Stealers there, actually. The Power Fists are no joke, and the Techmarine was there with his Mastercrafted Bolter, and he was being inspired as well by the Terminators. Up in the northeast, Cleanse in Flame going on. Termagants flee from the fire. There's that Neurothrope. He's used some energy already. He does drain health on hit from his basic attack as well, I believe. So he can heal himself up in that way, which is handy. The Hive Tyrant is still level 1. It can be difficult to level up your heroes when you're fighting Space Marines because they tend to not lose models very often. The natural of the Tyranids. 2v1 against Galahad this time. Terminators get out. They haven't dropped a model, but there's a capillary tower to speed things up. Lictor Alpha's there. I don't know why he's sneaking right now. Munching. They're getting munched. Shotgun blast will help out. There it is. Look at that disruption. And it suppresses them for a few seconds. Single cap here for the Space Marines. They are behind on VPs. Attack's trying to help a bit. Here comes another shotgun. And there's a jump from Vanguard Veterans. Do you stay in here if you are Tyranids? They killed a Terminator, which will cost 25 power. Kind of crazy. You don't get that much red for killing Terminators, I think. Isn't it only like 25 or something? You get 18 for attack. I think you get 21 for an assault marine, don't you? It's not that much red. Carnifex is up with a Stranglethorn cannon on the way. HappyDogo also has one going Thornback. Can they get the Vanguard Veterans down? That was pretty close. Looks like they got a Power Fist in. There's that Stranglethorn. Big plasma cannon damage and a suppression on hits. Goes for those stacks. Boom. Shuts down their ranged DPS if they get suppressed. Can't suppress the Terminators though. But they'll take decent damage from it for sure. Especially if you can hit all the models. Oh, high-powered shot. Shut down that Ravener and he runs off. He's got a Corrosive Devourer though. Really powerful plasma weapon. Good against Space Marines, isn't it? Especially with corrosive shots that can damage vehicles. Carnifex is marching forward. I don't think he should do this. Yeah, stay back, bud. Got some Termagants in support. Land Raider Redeemer on the way. In fact, there's a Land Raider Redeemer on the field for Galahad. So they're going to have 2 of them. This guy's a Thornback. Gives him more hit points. Is it 400? Yeah, 400 hit points. More health regen, which is nice. And he gets a charge. And he can spawn Rippers. Got to be careful about that, though. You spawn Rippers and then charge, you kill most of them with your charge. Which is always what I did. What is this? Ooh, it's a tier 3 Lictor for Malos. I guess I could just call him a Lictor, but I call him a tier 3 Lictor so you know I'm not talking about a Lictor Alpha. Who's now getting some gear. Pheromone is in. That's going to support the big melee blobs quite well. Debuffing enemy damage and you can reinforce off it. And there's Feeder Tendrils coming in for some power melee and healing on hits. So the Land Raider has Flamestorm cannons. These are not doing much to the Carnifex, but it also has a Multi-Melter on top, which will damage all targets. It's kind of short range though. Wasn't able to fire there. 197 to 303. VP lead is building for the Tyranids. That Stranglethorn did not hit the did not suppress these guys. I think the Land Raider gives you some suppression resistance actually. But you would think a Stranglethorn hit would be enough. There's a Frag Assault. That was quite nasty. They're pushing a Land Raider off. And the Lictor here was able to get a quick cap. It's a fast capping unit. Double now for the Tyranids. But there's the 2-to-1 now. We have a Land Raider Redeemer on the northeast. Missile launch attacks getting hits on the Thornback. Going to be tied up by those Rippers maybe. Oh, look at this. We have Lightning Claws now on this Terminator Force Commander. He's lost a bunch of stuff though, Hogest. He's down to 2 units and his Force Commander. This is aZmodai's Land Raider. Who just did a big retreat from this. 151303. Paul McGaunt's will try to grab that. Maybe they can get a triple. Although Galahad's back on his own natural down there. On the way for revive, says Malos. Talking about Diego, who's down up here, the Hive Tyrant. Oh, he's already there, look. Has regenerate. Assault Terminators are in for Hogest. Immediately get hit by the Neurothrope, though. That's quite nasty. Paroxysm doing damage over time there. Percentage-based damage over time, which is bad news when you've got 5,400 hit points. Genestealers run. Are they going to get claws, these guys? Keeping their hammers for now, which makes them a bigger threat to the Carnifex. Taking a bunch of damage, though. Missile launchers getting shots in as well. Some for the Emperor would be good there. But I haven't seen it. Orbital thrown in. Not a very good one. All placed on the same spot. All they hit are Termagants and Hormagaunts, I think. Carnifex charges out. And should be okay now, I think. Spawns some Rippers to cover his escape. But the Tyranids are still applying pressure. Have this guy here with Stranglethorn. Land Raider did take a bunch of damage. Terminator is able to get out of there. Hogest has a lot of resources, actually. Could maybe be looking at some more anti-vehicle on these guys. Get a las cannon, perhaps. Or just some more attacks with missile launcher would be good. Malos says run. This Carnifex has overstayed its welcome, I think, for Choki. Can they get it down? These guys are trying to get their power fist on it, I think. But here comes a rescue party, perhaps. And there's that Neurothroat. Getting some good shots in there. Tyranid rosters are full of nasty things. There's a Paroxysm again. The attack's just running into it. I think these guys are following an old order to try and shoot that Carnifex. He needs to back away now, which they are. So that all of these Space Marines can retreat back to this Land Raider and reinforce off it. It's a fantastic support platform for you. The other Land Raider is on the natural VP, but they have gone across and taken the Tyranids. So now it's a double for the Space Marines. Something's back on it, though. Raveners are taking it back. Sneaky Lictor's going to try and decap under infiltration, maybe. Oh, but the scouts are spotting him with their sergeant. He knows how to look for stuff. Which is strange because he doesn't have a helmet on, so he's got no auto sensors or anything. Tyrannid formation forces back some Space Marine stuffs. Oh, those guys aren't retreating to the Land Raider, look. You have to activate it as a retreat point if it's not your Land Raider. Maybe Hogest didn't want to retreat back to it. On the way, says Malos, and we can see him on the radar, moving northeast, leaving his own VP undefended though. And there's a turret here for Galahad. Doesn't want to move on. Worried about losing his own VP, I think. I think it's worth moving up though with your... Just leave the Land Raider there, and you know you can retreat back to it, you know. His Terminators are up here, trying to help out. 2-1 now for the Tyranids again. Can the Land Raider survive? The Terminator Force Commander goes back to the Heavy Flamer. How's it doing against the Genestealers? It's helping for sure. Double missile launch attacks here for aZmodai. That's for the Carnifexes. There's one right here. Not seeing any for the Emperor buffs or combat stims. This Apothecary has no war gear whatsoever, actually. Which is pretty rare to see. This guy has Signum. Yeah, Signum armor is in. So he could see some marked target, but he has now pushed up Galahad and is on the VP. Not using the fast capping Marines, he just used the faster moving scouts to get there. Could now maybe overtake the cap with those guys. No, I think he wants to bash power with the missile launcher. Land Raider did survive. These guys can at least get a decap, I think. If they're quick about it. Lightning Claws are back in. They can mince through some of this infantry or just disrupt it with Battle Cry. That was a Cataclysm knocking back those tactical Marines there. Ravener Brood Burrow striking in. Into the range of the Land Raider though and getting absolutely roasted. Having to flee. Swarm Lord on the way, says Malos. Land Raider for each of the Space Marine players now. And this is more Terminators for aZmodai, sorry. Paroxysm goes in. Great spot for it. There's 2 Terminator squads there. And they're just tanking it. Double Stranglethorn is this? No, one of them is a Venom Cannon. Because they've got to do something about these Land Raiders. They're providing huge support. Meanwhile, Tyrannid formation at the bottom. Galahad sits on the VP. Actually brought the Land Raider here. These guys can now just destroy these capillary towers for some red. And I think they give XP as well as a Zoanthrope down here. Still kicking off in the northeast. 87 to 198. Can the Space Marines hold on? Assault Terminator is pressuring the Carnifex, is pushing them back. There's a frag assault again. No Venom Broods, eh? Well, Swarm Lords are coming though. They could just run up to the Land Raiders and start smacking them. Warrior Brood is in there. Gene Stealers were in there. Do they have the Rending Claws? They do. This Land Raider's quite low actually. Assault Terminators have found a Neurothrope, making it flee if nothing else. Carnifex comes in with a charge to help save it. I think it would have been alright, maybe. Terminators are still nice and healthy though, those Terminators, eh? Now they're pushing in on the back lines. Carnifex is chasing them. If the Carnifex charged into the Land Raider, they would have got it down, I think. Here's a Swarm Lord for HappyDogo. Super unit for Tyranids. Powerful melee combatant with a really good synapse as well. Provides a speed bonus and a reinforcement synapse. He's got 2,000 hit points of vehicle armor. So these missile launchers are helping. Not sure where he's going now. Just trying to get out of there, maybe. Apothecary is finally getting some war gear. It's armor of the Apothecarian to get that advanced healing. I think he should get combat stims. Boost up these attacks with the missile launchers. Help them take down these large targets. Swarm Lord does get away. The tier 3 Lictor goes down. Should have jumped onto the turret. I guess he wasn't paying attention here. Looks like they're now doubling the natural VPs. The Swarm Lord is here for Malos. The Land Raider survived it, and this guy's got a melter gun now. Oh, and Orcs. But they're having to run. Had to disable the retreat point on the Land Raider, I guess. The Pillory Tower goes up. It's a big push from the Tyranids, you know. Is aZmodai responding to this? Maybe. He's going to take a while to get down here. And here's an orbital. Carnifexes can just run out of it. Some of the infantry might get caught, like right here. Swarm Lord backing off. Not sure if this Land Raider is going to survive this. Down it goes, actually. Corrosive shots from the Ravener Alpha 2. And they had the Venom Cannon and the Stranglethorn, and the Swarm Lord. It was very tough for it to survive that. Techmarine's back, and here comes aZmodai with another Land Raider, potentially. Looks like he's keeping it away from now. Orbs on the Swarm Lord. And mark target. Can they get it? You guys got to shoot. There we go. Swarm Lord is down. 120 red for that. There's a good bioplasma shot. Disrupting those guys. Cyclone Missile Launcher Terminators are in though for aZmodai. Space Marines have the northeast. Double cap. Tyranids are going to get this back. But the Space Marines should get this back as well. And they may have done enough, you know. This is going to be like a VP timing issue. With more time, the Tyranids might be able to do this, but they may have a bit of a bad timing on this push and this counter push. Down goes that Carnifex. Lictor trying to decap northeast. This is HappyDogo's. Gets the decap. It's now a single, and there's the 1-to-1. Has that saved the Tyranids? Can they get up there in time? There is a tunnel here. But, I mean, Carnifexes and Swarm Lords can't go through the tunnels. What is this? Some scouts waiting to decap this, maybe? Nice speed boost from the Swarm Lord is helping out here. More scouts on the way for aZmodai. Needs to repair the Land Raider is why. Another Land Raider on the way. I think he should get, like, las cannon tanks up. Predators. Land Raider doesn't help you a huge amount against these. It does provide a big fat lump of hit points, I guess, for them to focus on. And the Tyranids need to be more diligent about tying up these missile launcher attacks, I think. The Hormagaunts wiped. Or did they? Oh, maybe they reinforced off the Swarm Lord. 87 to 1. I wasn't even looking at the VPs. The 2-to-1 gets it for the Space Marines. They pulled out a victory. It was a tough fight, though. Orbital going off down here on the Tyranids natural. We had a Terminator Force Commander who doesn't have levels. We had a level 7 Apothecary. Arm of the Apothecarian at the end with improved medical equipment. The Techmarine was level 8, doing some work, eh? Had a Mastercrafted Bolter, now has a Melter Gun. The Tyranids level 2 Hive Tyrant. Level 3 Lictor Alpha did have Corrosive Claws at the end, actually. And a level 4 Ravener Alpha. Maybe that was the difference. Didn't see an amazingly good showing from these Tyrannid heroes, I feel like. But there you have it. Thank you all for watching. Big thanks to these players for duking it out in a faction war for us. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time.